Hello everybody, I am back today with a Shimmerz paints video for you. Today we are going to work with a cut file, but we're going to jazz it up and make it awesome. So this cut file is from the Cut to You shop. I'll link it below in case you would like it. It says Love Grows Here. I have it on my mat and I am super carefully removing the cut file and setting it aside because we're not going to use that part of the cut file right away. We're going to start with all the negative pieces. I leave them on my mat because that just gives them a nice steady place to go ahead and set. Now I'm going to grab some creamies. So I have Berry Hot, Daffodil, and Let Us Get Together. And what I am doing is I have a thin paintbrush. So this isn't something thick. This is a thinner paintbrush. I have already sprayed all three of my colors with water to get them viscous and usable. I'm going to start with the green. I'm taking my small paintbrush and I am painting the inside of all of this cut file. I'm using a small paintbrush, but I am loading that paintbrush up with paint. I'm just being very careful. I don't want to get paint on my mat. Getting paint on your mat is a bad thing. Ask me how I know. So I have one paintbrush for each of the colors I'm using, and I want a lot of paint. I want to thoroughly cover the white cardstock that my cut file was cut out of. And I also want to use a lot of paint because I want all that beautiful shimmer to be part of this cut file. So I want to get as much of that mica powder as I can. This is a great way to use a cut file if you don't like to back it. Grab some beautiful Shimmerz paints, put on something on the TV that you really like, and then you already have your mat. Just cut the cut file, pull the cut file off super slowly so that you don't lose any of the inside pieces, and then sit down and have a paint. And when we're finished with this, it's going to look beautiful. And you didn't have to back anything with pattern paper. I love these Berry Hot creamies. This color turns out so gorgeous. I also like the Daffodil and the Let Us Get Together. But this Berry Hot one, really when I was painting with it, I was like, oh, this is pretty. See? I'm going to use Daffodil to paint the entire flower. And don't be stingy with your paints. Don't be stingy with your Shimmerz paints. Use them. They do not stay, beautiful forever. After a while, they will, after even the creamies. I've been using Shimmerz paints for a very, very long time. I've been purchasing them, and they will dry out. They will, like most paint mediums, they can start to get that like moldy smell to them. So use them. Do not be precious with this product. These little paint pots are not very expensive. And you want them onto your pages and into your scrapbooks. You don't want them sitting on a shelf and then going bad on you. So I say that with just about all the mixed media that I use. Whatever company or manufacturer comes from, I've never had success with keeping these types of mixed medias in my scrapbook room for extended periods of time. So use up your stuff. You can always buy more, but you don't want to have to throw it away. So now I am painting this beautiful daisy in this gorgeous daffodil paint. I love this daffodil paint. It's super pretty. It is the perfect color for springtime. You guys know if you have been around my channel or are a subscriber, you know I've been really, really into the spring collections and the springtime colors right now. I'm just enjoying the colors of nature outside. And so when I sit down to scrapbook, I want to bring those colors of nature into my scrapbook and into my photos. So you can see here, just very carefully making sure not to get paint onto my silhouette mat. But at the same time, the stickiness of the mat is making it so that my white cardstock pieces are not shifting. They're staying right there where I need them to stay. And then I can go ahead and paint right onto them. Down in the description box, you will find a link to the Shimmerz shop where you can find all of these beautiful colors of paint. And if you do decide to make a purchase and grab some of these gorgeous pots of paint, please mention my name in the comments. If you mention my name in the comments, you'll get a free product with your order, which is awesome. So let's put this together. I'm going to start with the white outline of my cut file. I'm going to be using this pattern paper. This is from the Celebrate collection from Altenew and Pinkfish Studios. I just put my cut file down right onto my pattern paper. And now I'm taking all of these painted pieces and my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, filling in all the little holes and creating an inlaid cut file. So you'll see right now you can't really see the cut file very much because it's just the white outline. Once we fill it in, it's going to look so different and cool. So you can use any kind of wet glue you like, your favorite. My favorite is the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It has a really thin point at the top. It lasts a really long time. And then you just want to make sure you're thoroughly and completely pushing that down. You don't want any of these pieces to kind of bend up. Another thing to know is that I definitely waited quite a while before I went ahead and inlaid the die cut. I just wanted to make very sure that all of that paint was really good and cured and dry. And that's going to help to make sure that nothing's going to kind of start to peel up on you as the glue dries. So last little bit here, we have our stems done. We have our title done. Now we're going to go ahead and fill in this beautiful daffodil. Kind of pop it into place. And this is where I think this part of the layout really pops. That daffodil color, that beautiful bright yellow, is just gorgeous. I know sometimes daffodils are two colors. If you wanted to, you could use two colors to color this cut file. Or, you could do it all the same color if you wanted to have a more monochromatic look. Just make sure when you inlay your cut file that you're just filling the inside of that with a good amount of glue. And you can see here how pretty it looks when it's all finished, how beautiful that daffodil yellow color is. I love it. It's such a pretty color. I love all three of these colors. This is the first time I've used any of these three creamies colors, and I love them. So I'm going to be going ahead and embellishing and using the papers from my Altenew and Pinkfish Studio, the Celebrate collection. I have a 4x4 photo here, and I'm just going to give it a nice wide pink matte. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop my photo up with some foam tape to give it a bit of separation from the cut file. It is a black and white photo of my son and I. And I chose to turn it black and white because he is wearing this bright orange shirt that was just not going to go with this collection. And so I reprinted it and turned it black and white. I have added some Big Mama foam tape to the back of my photo here, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of pop this into place. Kind of pick up the edges a little bit, and then we can start to embellish. I'm going to use a lot of the die cuts from the collection. I'm just going to create some clusters. Now the flowers that I'm using definitely have some of that yellow. You can see how it matches the very hot green, yellow color, or the pink color perfectly. And the greens match really, really well. There is yellow in this collection, and the yellow is like a little accent piece to a lot of the insides of the flowers. And we're going to use a little bit more yellow here in a little bit to make sure that that yellow daffodil looks like it belongs and it doesn't kind of stand out on the page. Once I've chosen all of the die cuts and the clusters, I'm just going to go ahead and stick them down. Some of them I'm going to use some foam adhesive on to get a little bit of lift and a little bit of dimension. Same, just using my Big Mama foam tape from Spiegelbaum Scraps to get that dimension onto my page. So this is a layout where most of the work comes first, and it's most of the cut file, the painting, and putting it all together, but it makes such a beautiful complement to your photo. It acts as a title, so it's a great use for both the Shimmerz paints and also for the cut file. And I'm just going to add these little floral clusters around my layout. And I love how this layout turned out. I think it turned out so beautiful. I was so excited and happy when I remembered I had this whole collection, because I have only used it for a couple layouts, so I still have loads of it left. So this was a great like stash driving layout for me as well, to be able to pull that collection out and remember how much I really love it, and to then be able to go ahead and use it on this page. So once I have all of these clusters where I want them and all the different elements kind of popped up, I also love how these floral clusters kind of overlap some of the title. It makes everything look inclusive. It makes it all look like it goes together. And then to go ahead and add a bit more yellow, I'm just going to take that Daffodil Creamies paint. I'm going to put a little bit on my splattering brush, add some water to get it nice and loose. And then I'm going to drop some splatters in 3 different areas to add a bit more yellow to make everything a bit more cohesive. And it kind of brings out the yellow that's in the die cuts too. It kind of makes you kind of notice that it's there, I guess, would be a good way of putting it. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do some liberal splatters. I got a little bit on the top of my photo, but it wasn't on anyone's head, so we went with it. And that is what we're going to call this one done. Here are all of the beautiful close-ups where you can really see the color and the shimmer from the paint. Again, if you've not tried any of these paints yet, I really highly recommend them. I absolutely love them. And this is a really great technique to use them with. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.